Just, I guess, start off with those two young defensive ends. How are they progressing out there?
We're doing good. You know, we have 4 guys working at the end spot, and Gerald Gooden being one of them, and he's been out most of spring, most of the scrimmage stuff and team stuff he's been held out of and done some of the individual work, and that's allowed Rashad Frazier and Ryan Russell and Robert Macy to get the bulk of the reps, and they're doing very, very well. Some days are hotter than others, but I really like what I see out of them. They're both big, good-bodied guys. They're not undersized ends, which is important for us right now, and they both have a chance to be physical ends. So, been pleased with them so far. Really like what I see, out of Russell. I think he's maybe has a little more of a knack to rush the passer right now, but both those guys will be in position to play it and help us win next year.
Are you pretty well, I mean, the 4 guys that you talk about at that spot, are you pretty well settled on those 4? You don't anticipate moving anybody else down there? Or?
I wouldn't say that. You never know. That's what spring ball is, about. But those 4 guys are talented enough. They're still not ready yet, but that's the 4 guys that we have to work with at the end, and all 4 of those guys are good enough potentially. They're just not ready yet.
Right. And just the only other thing I really had today is just, the fact that Matt Painter's staying. I mean, just from an athletic department standpoint and your standpoint, I know you probably have a relationship with him. Just how nice is it to have him back here again?
Well, he told me days ago what he's going to do. Yeah, you know better than that. It was great news, and I didn't know until a little bird told me on the practice field. But it's certainly great news and something to celebrate. And Matt and his program is a huge part of our school spirit, a huge part of the Purdue pride. So happy for Matt and happy for Purdue, and hats off to our administration for stepping up big time and keeping him here. It's great news and something to celebrate.
Just as you look ahead to Friday's scrimmage, just still on plan to go with the steak and bean scrimmage, and will it be a number 1 offense versus a number 1 defense type of thing?
We're going to go best against best the most that we can, and there's a couple of guys that are banged up and could be questionable for that scrimmage. Nick Mondek is one that could be questionable for that scrimmage. Obviously Marv won't be in the scrimmage. Panfile won't be in the scrimmage. Quinn won't be in there. Robinson won't be in there. The guys that have been out will stay out. Beckford has got to turn his ankle today. It's nothing serious, but he's questionable for that scrimmage. So we could have 2 or 3 key players out for the scrimmage. That may change the spread a little bit. But we're still going to go out there, and then there's steak and beans on the line, and we're going to get it on with what we got and have some fun with it. We went out today, and we were in full pads. We've wore full pads every chance that we've had. Unlike the season, sometimes we take the pads off of them to keep them fresh for the games. We've kept the pads on them to toughen them some, and it's been good. But it was a good practice today. We were in full pads, but no tackling. And the guys practice hard, and they practice fast, and we executed better than we have in a lot of areas, and we're definitely getting better. So that's exciting.
Will Friday's scrimmage be an up and down the field scrimmage, or is it going to be more of a situational?
We'll sit down and talk. There's some things that we'd like to maybe work a little bit more on. We haven't worked any on coming out. Being backed up inside the 5 or 10 yard lines on offense and coming out. Trying to get 2 first downs is our goal in that situation. We haven't used that type of scrimmage yet, so we're going to sit down and look and see if there's some things that we haven't done that we need to get in before spring ball's over, and we may earmark a few the new scrimmage ideas, but we'll have some move it scrimmage up and down the field. We may have some red zone scrimmage as well. We'll sit down as a staff and come up with some things to change it up a little bit.
Is your plan for the spring game at this point to do what you did last year? I think you did ones versus ones.
My plan right now, if everybody stays healthy, is divide them up, make 2 teams, and then play a game and have some fun with it, and try to incorporate some special teams in it. I really like what I'm seeing from our special teams. We're obviously have good specialists and a lot of our top special team players back, and we're very far ahead special teams wise, and believe that will be one of our edges in 2011.
If Nick can't go, who do you slide in there?
We'll have Justin Kitchens. He's gotten all the reps with the ones the last few days. Nick's been out, and he's gotten all the reps with the ones, and he's done very, very well. Pleased with him. We're working Eric McDaniel some at left guard with the 2s, and he's getting a lot better. We had moved him over from defense. He moved over before before Kitchens did, but have really been pleased with Kitchens. He is a low rep guy. You don't have to explain it to him a whole lot of times, and he has a knack for some of the things that we that we're looking for on the offensive side of the ball. And he's an outstanding athlete. He is competing to be a starter. He's only been over here 4 or 5 days, practices probably, but looks really good. He's an outstanding athlete, very quick out of his stance, a really fast learner. He'll help us win next year, and he's competing to be a starter. If Nick won't go, the Kitchens will get all of the ones, and we can execute our offense with him in there right now already.
Nick's injury is minor.
It's a turned ankle, so not that big a deal. He turned it early in the scrimmage the other day and finished the scrimmage out, and then it was the sore, and we're just keeping him off of it. We don't need to pound on him right now. We'll pound on him later. But it was good. Had a good day. The guys were into it.
Danny, through this portion of the spring, how happy are you with this team and where they're at right now?
I was pleased from the very beginning because we were further along than we have been, and a lot of that has to do with the quarterback position and a lot of new players that got to play a lot last year. Even though we didn't win as many games as we would have liked to, we played a lot of freshmen. We played, I think, 17 freshmen last year, and those guys, most of them had key roles or they were starters for us, and it really shows up this spring. A lot of those brand new guys already have a bunch of games under their belt. So we're obviously further along than we were this time last year, particularly at the quarterback spot. Obviously in the secondary, because most of those guys weren't even here last year at this time. So very pleased with the progress. And we still have a lot of work to do and a long ways to go, but we're further along than we have been.
What are a couple of the areas going into the spring game that you've continued to talk about as a staff that you want to see improvements on?
Well, a lot of different areas. Suddenness in our stances. We still need a lot more work on blitz pickup. We have, a new coach at the linebacker spot. So those guys getting familiar with their keys and reads, based on how he's teaching them. But if you talk about positions on our football team, the tight end position is very important to us from a developmental standpoint right now because we graduated a bunch of seniors at that spot, and only Gabe Holmes had played a little bit last year. So the development of the tight end position is very important for our football team right now, and the development at the defensive end position is very important for our football team right now. Those are the two youngest, greenest spots on our team.